Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our breakout session for this afternoon. We are in breakout room 3. No, our topic for today is very interesting as we will be listening to different inspiring stories from different academic institutions. Our topic for today is building an SE program in your academic institution, journey of academic institutions in building social enterprise development programs, whether through curriculum development, community extension services, and research. We will be hearing from different schools. We have, I think, about 7 schools that we will listen to today. Different inspiring stories. Kaya medyo mahaba po yung session natin. We are starting now at 2 o'clock. We will be ending at around 4 o'clock. So I hope you guys get to hear everyone's stories because each story is very different. May iba't ibang stage po tayo ng schools na nandito today. No? We have 7 universities and colleges from Luzon, Visayas, at syempre meron din sa Mindanao on how they are building social enterprise development programs within their academic institution, either through curriculum development, community extension services, and research. We just have a few reminders for our breakout room today. No? During the Q&A portion, feel free to use the Hubilo chat box, or you can also raise your hand if you want to ask a question, and we could unmute you, and you can directly ask either a specific speaker or any one of the speakers for today's. Any announcements, links, or resources will also be found in the chat box. Okay, so let's start this afternoon's very exciting session. Sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam, medyo siguro nakukulitan na kayo. Ako pa rin si Maan Sicam, co-founder and president of Happy Helpers and board director of the Society for the Advancement of Professional Social Entrepreneurship. Pasensya na sa aking bosses today, medyo under the weather lamang. So, ano nga ba ang session natin ngayong hapon na ito? Our session on building a social entrepreneurship program in academic institution aims to inspire you toward the creation of your own social enterprise programs through the sharing of the 6 speakers on their SE programs and how they birthed, continue to implement, and even expand it. They will showcase the different stages of social entrepreneurship integration within their respective academic institution, giving you a wide array of ideas on how to start, build, and expand your own social enterprise program within your academic institution. Since yesterday, from the talk of when we had the academe breakout room yesterday, marami nang naging tanong, how do I start? It can be overwhelming, from Sir Norby's sharing yesterday, marami nang naging curious, kung ano nga ba, paano nga ba. So today is the day. So if you have any questions, do either put them in our chat box, or if you want to speak right after everyone has spoken, we will give you some time to do so. So this afternoon is very exciting. So without further ado, simulan na natin. For our first guest, kilala na natin siya even from yesterday. Our first guest is a speaker from the Lasallian Social Enterprise for Economic Development from De La Salle University. Sir Norby Salonga is the founding director of the Lasallian Social Enterprise for Economic Development, or LSED Center of De La Salle University. He teaches social innovation and entrepreneurship at the Department of Decision Sciences and Innovation of the Ramon del Rosario College of Business in the same university. He is a professor, fellow for economic empowerment of the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative of the American Councils for International Education and the U.S. State Department Bureau of Education and Cultural Affairs, and a trained regional facilitator of the British Council Philippines. He is the founder of the Y and the founding President of Youth Tech Philippines. In 2020, he was recognized by the Accreditation Council of Entrepreneurial and Engaged Universities as one of the top 5 finalists for Engagement Leader of the Year in Asia Pacific, in recognition of his contributions to the landscape of the social enterprise sector. In 2014, he was commended as Social Innovator of the Year during the Social Enterprise World Forum in South Korea and became a Circular Economy Fellow of Orange ASEAN by the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands. In 2010, Mr. Salonga became the youngest recipient of the GAT Apolinario Mabini Awards and was named President of the Year by the Junior Achievement. Bridging Leadership Fellow on the Team Energy Center for Bridging Leadership of the Asian Institute of Management in 2010 and a YLKD Fellow of the Ateneo School of Government and World Bank Knowledge for Development Center in 2012. Mr. Salonga is a certified human resource professional as conferred by the International Federation of Professional Managers, United Kingdom. At present, he is a PhD candidate in the Philippine Studies, major in Development Studies, minor in Asian Studies with distinction as a University Scholar Awardee and President's Lister from the Tri-College Program of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, where he also obtained his degree in Community Development. Mr. Salonga completed the diploma course on Strategic Management of Intellectual Property from De La Salle University and participated in the Economy of Francesco of the Vatican Dicastery for promoting integral human development. So without further ado, let us give our warm virtual applause to Mr. Norby Salonga. Hi, Sir Norby. It's so nice to see you again.
Hi, Miss Maan. Good morning, and good morning to
Good
all of our
afternoon
viewers.
po.
Ay,
Good
good
afternoon
afternoon na
tayo.
pala. Sorry. Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We have an exciting session ahead of us, and I'm sure my colleagues also from other universities will be sharing interesting insights how they've managed to build their social enterprise intervention. But in my case, I'll be sharing with you the story of the Lasallian Social Enterprise for Economic Development Center. Okay, so LSED stands for Lasallian Social Enterprise for Economic Development Center. So let me share with you first like a bit of like a global context on how and why we started our efforts and why we constantly try to somehow develop our programs further related to social entrepreneurship. The GEM, or the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, has revealed that more than 40% of entrepreneurs globally agree or strongly agree that their main motivation to launch a business is to actually make a difference. It is very consistent with the definition and the intention of social entrepreneurship. And in 2019, the UNSCAP has in fact identified social entrepreneurship as a strategy to localize SDGs. On a national level, as a situationer, in the Philippines, there are about 164,473 social enterprises operating in various forms. These SEs take the form of cooperatives, microfinance institutions, new generation SEs, and even fair trade organizations. As part of the social economy sector, these SEs in fact represent 15% to 18% of the total micro, small, and medium enterprises. And as we know, MSMEs accounts for 99.6% of the total business community in the country. So that's how powerful and influential the MSME sector in the Philippines. In fact, MSME or the sector is the one providing livelihood and job opportunities for the most vulnerable sectors of society. And the reason why I decided to put a picture of a farmer here is because in the Philippines, it's very unfortunate that the farmers and fisher folks are considered poorest of the poor in the country based on the data of the Philippine Statistical Authority. And this is one of the reasons why we in fact started social and LSED as a social entrepreneurship component at the beginning of our SDG localization project. So let me share with you the humble beginnings of LSED now as a center. From 2015 to 2018, it was launched as one of the 4 key elements or components of the Sustainable Development Goals Localization Project of De La Salle University. The LSU holds the distinction of being the first university in the country to localize the United Nations SDG from MDG to SDG. In 2018 to 29, from 2018 to 2019, we transitioned LSID Center into a program and a university-wide initiative. From 3 colleges, we expanded the membership to 4 more colleges. From 2020 to 2021, that's when we started, in fact, the transition of LSID into a center. From 2021 to present, LSID became the University Center for Social Entrepreneurship and Social Innovation. In terms of the global goals, we originally started with 2 SDGs, decent employment and partnership. Decent employment by providing livelihood and economic opportunities to the most vulnerable sectors of society. And global partnership because we acknowledge the fact that there has to be some sort of like a platform and opportunity where all of the organizations, private and public, will have the opportunity to collaborate. But then after the transition from being a component, we decided to expand that to 17 goals, allowing more students, communities to develop social enterprises that are responding to the needs of the vulnerable sectors of society. In terms of our programming, we started as social engagement, but then after the transition and after it became a program and now as a center, we expanded it into other areas, to more areas in terms of our engagement. So now we have formation, curricular and co-curricular, social enterprise development, internship, research, volunteerism, advocacy, and internationalization. So that is the humble beginnings of LSID Center. Now it is the flagship unit of De La Salle University in areas of social entrepreneurship and social innovation. We try to localize the United Nations SDGs by working with students and communities in building social enterprises that are responding to the needs of the most vulnerable sectors of society. Now, as a center, we envision ourselves to be an internationally recognized center for social entrepreneurship and social innovation, but highlighting on the concept of innovation, inclusion, and collaboration. We are the first university to, in fact, started a model called Community Student Partnership, allowing students and communities to build social enterprises. It is part of our mission to form social entrepreneurs and innovators who are driven to contribute to community development, because at the end of the day, we're building social enterprises to develop communities and to localize the United Nations SDGs to make it more relevant and impactful. In terms of our programs, we have around 10 programs and 35 initiatives, local and international. Our flagship program is called LSID Fellowship Program, allowing our students to build social enterprises by working with communities. We also have our curricular and co-curricular efforts, offering social entrepreneurship modules through service learning, NSTP, Student Affairs 2000, LaSalle and core curriculum. We also offer courses really are major subjects and elective subjects in partnership with key colleges, and of course, our senior high school programs in partnership with the integrated school. We also involve our students as interns and volunteers under the LSID Internship and Volunteering Program, allowing them to immerse themselves in the concept of social entrepreneurship and work with social entrepreneurs through our various efforts. Our student organizations called Halt Prize at DLSU for Social Entrep, DLSU Scale for Technopreneurship, and CEO for the ecosystem building are our partners also in ensuring that our students are very much involved in the process of building social enterprises. In order to reach out and provide capacity building efforts to other institutions and other universities, we launched the LSID Certificate Program, providing basic certificate course in social entrepreneurship. This serves as our capacity building efforts to be able to help or build practitioners in the field of social entrepreneurship. We are very active also in terms of our advocacy and internationalization by working with the public and private sectors as part of the Poverty Reduction to Social Entrepreneurship Coalition, the Micro, Small, and Medium Development Council under the Subcommittee on Management and Labor Capacities, helping the government to develop the MSMED plan, and recently, of course, as part of the National Association of the Social Enterprise Educators and Administrators through this platform. We also work with researchers, local and international, in the fields of social entrepreneurship and social innovation, ensuring that our research are very much consistent and are used as inputs to the development of our programs, internal and external to the LSU. We also have our own nationwide program on Angat Buhay Young Social Entrepreneurs Program, allowing us to work with youth leaders and community leaders in building social enterprises nationwide. In order to help recalibrate the programs of our students, we launched the Social Enterprise Development for Student Organizations, making the projects of our students more impactful and sustainable. As our positive response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we launched the Kaagapay sa Yugtod Abot Kayang Negosyo, allowing community-based organizations to transition their efforts to social entrepreneurial initiatives. And recently, to be able to support all of these existing SEs that we have, we launched the LSED Social Enterprise Marketplace in partnership with Lazada Philippines, building a microsite intended for allowing social enterprises to sell via Lazada platform. These are some of the milestones of our center. Right now, we work with 70 social enterprises with 360 social entrepreneurs involving over 10,000 students, faculty, and alumni of the LSU. These are some of the photos of our programs even during the pandemic. And this is how we do it, from curricular to fellowship. So we start our programs from senior high school all the way to the undergraduate. And now we are in the process of building our own master's program in social entrepreneurship and social innovation in partnership with key colleges and schools of the university. In terms of our student organizations, we make sure that we provide the necessary formation and capacity building to the leaders of these student organizations. We're the first university to in fact establish CEO, which is considered as the global leading entrepreneurship organization for students, and of course the DLSU Scale and Hall Prize for both techno and social entrepreneurship respectively. We work with different local and international networks like ASEAN Learning Network, the British Council, our very own collaboration among ASEAN nations we can, and of course, and other organizations in the public and private spaces. So now let's talk about LSED Center further. So number one, we were able to develop a proven model of social entrepreneurship with a good track record, local and international. Our institution is recognized internationally because of our efforts related to social entrepreneurship in the curriculum, social research, and social engagement. And social entrepreneurship as a model is considered a global and sustainable approach for social impact and development. Now, the new direction of LSED as a center is to influence and capacitate other HEIs in the field of SE and SI. That's why we are here as part of the association. Second is to contribute to development of the social enterprise sector. We need to be able to develop the sector so that more SEs can grow and that more social enterprises will be developed by academic institutions like the LSU. And third, we want to be able to contribute to national development through social entrepreneurship and social innovation. This is the team behind the LSED Center. So we work with faculty members from the different colleges. And these are the social media platforms and communication lines of LSED Center. And then again, I'd like to leave you with this quotation that as academic institutions, the pivotal role of the academe is not limited to educating minds, but to forming a generation that understands the value of education in real life. I hope that we keep this in mind as we develop our own social enterprise programs in our respective universities. That's all, and thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sir Norby. Talagang truly inspiring, no? The reason why we chose LSED or Sir Norby to be our first speaker for today kasi yung gusto natin dyan, parang kumbaga, di ba sabi nga nila, hashtag sana all, or yan na ang ating bagong peg, no? Within the 8 years that they have developed LSED in LaSalle, hindi siya, it didn't happen overnight. There was a lot of hard work and commitment. So don't be what do you call that, overwhelmed na paano yon, paano namin siya gagawin. So we can ask more questions from Sir Norby later on how did they really do that, no, in the last 8 years that they have been doing it, what type of commitments happened within the university so that they can actually implement the program. We move on now to our next speaker, who unfortunately could not be here today, but have sent a video for us. No, our next speaker is Sir Eric Parilla. He is currently the Vice President for Research and Community and Social Development at Northwestern University. He obtained his Master of Science in Management at the University of Asia and the Pacific and his Doctor of Business Administration at the University of Northern Philippines last 2010. Currently, he is taking up his second Master's in Masters of Management major in Data Analytics at the Philippine Christian University. He is also a holder of a certificate in social entrepreneurship in the De La Salle University, Taft. He loves doing research and has produced, presented, and published numerous research at conferences and journals here and abroad. In fact, he is not here today because he is presenting his research as well in another event. He is also a seasoned peer reviewer and member of the editorial board of various international and local journals. He is also a consultant for different businesses, primarily doing feasibility studies and business plans. He's the vice president for Luzon for the Philippine Association of Collegiate Schools in Business and the president of the Philippine Council of Deans and Educators in Business Northern Luzon chapter. So a representative from Northern Luzon, we have Mr. Eric Parilla.
Good afternoon. I am Eric S. Parilla, the Vice President for Research, Community, and Social Development of Northwestern University, Lawag City, Ilocos Norte. And I'm here to present to you the different small steps and small achievements in terms of social entrepreneurship in my university. Actually, social entrepreneurship is just new to us since this was just introduced to us last 2021. But I am proud to say that we have already small milestones for social entrepreneurship in my university. So, welcome to my presentation. It's called True Health, the Community and Social Engagement of Northwestern University. In Northwestern University, we believe that social entrepreneurship may be the vehicle or catalyst to change the economic system in such a way that profits produce positive social and economic change, and financial markets reward companies for doing so through social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurs represent a powerful idea, an idea that is relevant today more than ever before. Business can be a vehicle to create both economic values and contributing to building a fair and equitable society. So Northwestern University had introduced social entrepreneurship as part of our community extension services agenda and research agenda last 2021. But before I go to the different programs and community extension services that we had in line with social entrepreneurship, let me first introduce to you Northwestern University. As the record, Northwestern University Extension Program was ignited after its desire to undergo accreditation in 1990, after its 58 years of existence, making us 91 already. We will be celebrating our centennial this coming 2029. And so we had already improved our research and community extension services. So Northwestern University Extension Services originated from the Office of the Chairman of Planning and Development, composed of selected faculty members headed by the Director of Extension Services with the assistance of the Head of Non-Formal Education and Research. Being new in the said endeavor, The university equipped the faculty members with trainings on basic skills and research and documentation to help in the conduct of community studies. Moreover, as a startup, the university made linkages to different organizations in order to gain more skills, knowledge, experience, and exposure to both government and non-government organizations. The university's pilot barangay for extension services was Barangay 41 Balakad, Lawag City. This was one of the most depressed and the poorest barangay back then. It is 7 kilometers away from the city proper and 3 kilometers from the university site. Over the years, Northwestern University had made a lot of improvements from one adopted barangay to 337 community extension services to different adopted barangays and communities. Northwestern University Extension Research flourished and had become the strength of the university, especially that accreditation had been the way of life of many universities in order to give a better and a quality education. It had been guided by the Commission on Higher Education's functions. Of course, you know that instruction, research, and social development. One of the areas that Northwestern University focuses is actually social entrepreneurship. When it comes to a country's economic growth, universities usually take the lead. They are crucial to the processes of both transmitting knowledge to future generations and discovering new information via research. These two paths may prepare students to make meaningful contributions to their country's economies. Education in social entrepreneurship is receiving focus at Northwestern University. The notion is that recent graduates who had developed entrepreneurial abilities would be better equipped to create jobs and sustainable economies. At Northwestern University, similar education is integrated with service learning initiatives. Students get the skills necessary to become social entrepreneurs by participating in and leading these types of initiatives. As a start, Northwestern University had made entrepreneurship as one of its general education subjects. It means that NWU students have to take entrepreneurship as a course, whether they are in business or non business courses. It is envisioned by the school that in order to motivate students to become a social entrepreneur, proper education should be given to them. In their course, entrepreneurship, they will be taught how to establish a small or startup business. Two chapters will be dedicated to social entrepreneurship so that they will be encouraged to establish a social enterprise. Speaking of social enterprises, one of the current NWU program is helping the salt makers in Kasukin establish their own social enterprise through a cooperative. The salt makers in Pasukin, based on research, are unorganized and they practice cutthroat competition just to earn. So the intervention of Northwestern University is to form a cooperative or an association in order to stabilize the competition and to come up with common regulations and procedures to avoid the cutthroat competitions. This will help not only the salt makers in Pasukin, but also the local government, the provincial government, and of course the tourism industry in Ilocos Norte. We have already started by having an appraisal and needs assessment of the community. That's why the results of my study is that I found out that the salt makers practice cutthroat competition. They are unorganized and they just price their commodities as low as long as the consumers will be able to purchase from them. So that those are the programs and initiatives of social entrepreneurship in my university. And social entrepreneurship is part of our research agenda as well. There are three finished and existing social entrepreneurship research. These are social entrepreneurship orientation in Iloilo in Ilocos Norte, Philippines, an empirical study. The second one is determinants that influence business students to establish social entrepreneurship in the Philippines, and social entrepreneurship orientation, university entrepreneurial features, and cultural support of Japanese students, basis for developing social entrepreneurship education development framework. The last one is actually, hopefully, it will be funded by Sumitomo Foundation in Japan. The two others, the first two researches are actually finished researches, and I'm going to present the second one in Hawaii this coming March. The social entrepreneurship orientation in Iloilo and Ilocos Norte, Philippines, the result the result is that the students are moderately aware, both in Iloilo and Ilocos Norte, of what social enterprise is or social entrepreneurship is. And in terms of the determinants that influence business students to establish social entrepreneurship in the Philippines, the result is that the university entrepreneurial features has a strong relationship between the desire to establish social enterprise in the Philippines. So these are the researches that Northwestern University had conducted and will conduct. The last one is to be funded by, as I said, the Sumitomo Foundation in Japan. Northwestern University's commitment is not only to give quality education to learners, but to develop communities as well as to become productive and self-reliant, living to its mission, vision, and objective to be champion in all aspects of social development. It is there not only to give fish, but to teach people how to fish, and that the university is shedding light and giving upliftment to depressed and in need communities as it lives its commitment of excellence and service. Feed it, tea at last. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon to each and every one of us. And I hope that social entrepreneurship will be a vehicle for change in the Philippines. Thank you and good day.
Thank you very much, Sir Eric. Ayun nga, unfortunately, he couldn't be with us today, but as you can see, no, iba-iba yung story. No, our first story was Salle, which is based in NCR, 8 years of social entrepreneurship within their school. As Sir Eric has mentioned, bata pa or bago pa lang ang social entrepreneurship nila, pero matagal na nilang ginagawa. Wala lang label. They have been helping communities within their areas. Okay, so for again, if you have any questions, do type them out in the chat box, and we will be reading them later on. Type them out or write them down if you want to raise your hand later and ask a specific speaker later on. So let's move on to our next set of speakers. No, another parang young or budding social entrepreneurship course or development within their school. And the difference is Brightwoods is actually a K to 12 program school. So the other two were universities, but we'll now be hearing from a different type of school. We are now welcoming Sir Francis Datu and Teacher Lovely Mercado. Teachers Francis and Lovely are two of the 97 mighty men and women of Brightwood School. This dynamic duo works hand in hand as they steer the institution toward social entrepreneurship adoption and practice. Teacher Lovely is on her 11th year of teaching and has been handling math and CLE subjects for the junior high school department. Currently, she also fulfills a key role in the school's community service arm called the Service Learning Unit. Teacher Francis, on the other hand, is on his 16th year of teaching and now handles senior high school subjects such as business math, business finance, fundamentals of accountancy, and entrepreneurship. Currently, he's been in the forefront of evolving the school's entrepreneurship program to a social entrepreneurship one. So let's give a virtual applause to our duo of speakers, Teacher Francis and Teacher Lovely. Welcome!
Again, maya pagatpanapon po kaya kayo man. That's good afternoon, everyone in the Kapampangan language. Thank you, Miss Maan, for the very generous introduction. Again, I'm Lovely Mercado, or Teacher Lovely. And together with me here today is Francis Datu, or Teacher Francis. So this afternoon, allow us to tell Brightwood School story in the hope of inspiring other basic education institutions to integrate social entrepreneurship in their curricula as well. So you heard us right. Social entrepreneurship isn't only for universities. I think service transcends age. We can start as early as preschool, just like what we are trying to do in our school. Okay, so to jumpstart our sharing, we will begin with three things. One, the vision that started this all. Next, our journey, that fertile ground on which we believe this seed can flourish. And then lastly, our way forward, fully integrating social entrepreneurship in our way of life. So we start with the vision. Everyone, meet Anna Maria Yap Zubiri, or Teacher Anna, the founder of Brightwood School. How she started it all in its most humble beginnings is a story of courage, passion, and a penchant for doing things right and doing it right by the people the school serves, the children, the parents, the faculty, and staff. Her passion lies in education as a means of the attainment of full human potential and the uplifting of the human condition. How? By developing the new generations in accordance with the ever expanding fund of human knowledge and experience, constantly seeking what knowledge is of most worth and what makes for a life well lived. So, as a way to give back to the community and to the world, she has created a culture of true generosity, kindness, and love. Teacher Anna has highlighted how the selfless act of service should not be limited with the confines of the home, the community, or the company, but has to transcend to all of humanity. It is in this light that she encourages all the mighty men and women of Brightwood School and everybody else out there to go out, reach out, and pay it forward, to live a life dedicated to service to humanity. So these are her exact words. She is envisioning for a strong, steady outreach culture of service and love towards a unity of all of creation. Again, Teacher Anna Zubiri, our founder. The legacy that our founder is creating is one that beats for others, a call that encourages us to be kinder, to be open hearted, to be trusting, and most importantly, to be love itself. Now, it is in this light that the Brightwoods Service Learning Program was conceived. To know more about this, please watch this video with us.
It is when we hold ourselves to the real plight of our brothers and sisters, especially the least, and the lost, that we realize what part we each take in the greater scheme of things. That kindness and compassion transcend age and social status that we are tremendously blessed, so we can also be blessings to others. And we believe that our hearts are burdened, it will be a call to action. We have been of kindness in more ways than it is time to pay it forward. Let us continue taking part in building better communities by being help to one another. Let us continue part of this kind of champion. Speak up for those who for themselves and help for God's kingdom on earth in your own. The work before, but the kindness in as we march on, move forward boldly, these efforts in our mind, continue to remember that we are each other. We look after each other, and we are each other's stories. We exist ourselves. We exist.
Okay. And by the way, this is a promotional video we created when we launched just recently our service learning season. Now, to know more about service learning, and our service learning program, or SLP, aims for a strong, steady outreach stemming from a culture of service and love towards the unity of all of creation. So, what's service learning? Service learning, as a form of experiential education, is connected to three things. One, the academic content, and is organized around clear learning goals. Two, it also provides meaningful and relevant service activities which address real community needs as defined by the communities themselves. And lastly, it also provides students opportunities for critical reflection upon their service experiences. So, with this initiative, the different stages leading to the level outreach programs in our school, from planning, fundraising, preparation up to implementation, and most especially critical reflection, are all integrated in our curriculum, particularly in our students' social studies classes. So, to give you an idea as to how we do it across levels, please stay tuned. For our primary level, we expose our young learners to service through what we call their Share a Toy program, where they visit public schools and give toys to school children their age. At the intermediate level, they organize Christmas outreach activities to select classes in nearby elementary schools. And for our high schoolers, we visit partner institutions such as Munting Tahanan ng Nazareth, a home for abandoned people with disabilities, Bahay Pag-ibig, a home for abandoned elderly, as well as the inmates at the Angeles City Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP, and the 70 plus Aita families at Sicam Mabilog, Brightwoods School's adopted community. So, to know more about Sicam Mabilog, we have another video for you. There you go. By the way, this was a video teaser we released before when we introduced Sitio Mabilog to all of Brightwoods and when we officially launched Project H2O, one of our first big projects at the sitio. So furthermore, our faculty and staff continue to move forward boldly with these socio-civic efforts with our very own faculty choir annually singing Christmas carols to select Brightwoods families during the Yuletide season in the hope of not only bringing good cheers but also raising funds to help chosen beneficiaries. We also organized Project Heart, HEART, which means helping another rise triumphant for the purpose of bringing help to the masses who were unable to make ends meet or have lost their means of subsistence due to the circumstances during the COVID-19 pandemic. Project Heart, aside from bringing relief and assistance in terms of food and nutrition and other necessities such as hygiene and medicines, also aimed to engage people in activities encouraging three things: one, productivity; two, sustainability; and the third one, empowerment. So, this is our journey so far. We continue to become a wellspring of goodness and a beacon of hope in our community through our own little ways with service. Indeed, we make service our way of life. We believe that all these combined efforts from the whole Brightwoods community, contributing to our vast experience on community building and social work, serve as a fertile ground for new seeds, new ventures such as social entrepreneurship to thrive and flourish on. We do believe we can do more. Now, to tell you more about where we are headed, our way forward, I give you Teacher Francis.
Thank you, Teacher Lovely, and hello, everyone. Anyway, to continue our sharing, our way forward, to make sure that social entrepreneurship as a new movement in Brightwoods continues to be nurtured, we are building our greenhouse, which we call a SEED, or the Brightwood Center for Social Enterprise Empowerment and Development. We believe that it is not an accident that we bear almost the same name as LSEED, an institution we look up to as an exemplar. At this juncture, we present to you some of our major plans. Our flagship program will be called Brightwoods and Beyond, a social entrepreneurship course for all. This is in alignment with the first statement of our school's Good to Great mission, stating that we will build Brightwoods for the great multitude of children and their families, of workers and their families, and all those who come its way. This course strongly adheres to the principles of progressivism, learning by doing, service learning, integration of academic study, meaningful service, and critical reflection, and the Brightwoods mandate of making learning fun and lasting. In its pilot year of implementation, it will train primarily our senior high school students and select faculty members. Then, in the coming years, other teachers and staff and the community will be encouraged towards creating their own social enterprises through ideation, incubation, and acceleration. To do so, we will employ the project-based approach in a hybrid learning environment. The participants are expected to create a social enterprise development plan and actually execute it by participating in the following activities: a Christmas bazaar for initial exposure, startup trade exposition, and an awards night for recognition of outstanding efforts. SEED will serve as the incubation and growth center for these budding social enterprises, and the following services are hoped to be offered: social entrepreneurship education, role modeling and mentoring, social enterprise plan development and training, business information network, market syndication and linkaging, social enterprise expos, and funding assistance. These learning experiences mentioned will be supplemented by learning materials that are purposeful, adaptive, excellent, and relevant to the learner's needs. This will be sourced primarily through a collaboration with Bayan Academy, LSEED, and other institutions. In the year ahead, we intend to pursue a master's degree in social enterprise development. To date, we have attended BPIC Nag-Social Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Educators and LSEED's Basic Certificate course on Social Entrepreneurship. Moreover, to cater to our younger learners, we also hope to invite social entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurship educators just like you to share your journey in our Teachers of the World program. Lastly, to go beyond the Brightwoods community, we also hope to organize our own social enterprise pitch challenge, inviting senior high school students around Angeles City, the winner of which will be receiving a seed fund and mentoring. That's just about it. We appreciate you taking time to listen to this presentation, and we look forward to learning and working with you as we democratize social entrepreneurship in the Philippines together. Again, this has been Teacher Francis and Teacher Lovely saying thank you and God bless us all. Hail Brightwoods!
Thank you, Teacher Francis and Teacher Lovely. It's so inspiring to hear your talk today, no? Kumbaga, we really, one thing that struck me in your entire presentation, two words lang, kindness and compassion. You know, we start them young because it's gonna be hard for us to push the social entrepreneurship agenda at the senior high school level kung sa batang-bata pa lang ay hindi nila alam kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng kindness and compassion. So, if you have questions for Teacher Francis and Teacher Lovely, do put them in the chat box or write them down and we can ask them later on. So, an example of a basic education school, K-12 program in Pampanga, going into social entrepreneurship development. Now we're going to Visayas, no, with Sir French Dampog. He is designated as the Chief of the Knowledge and Technology Transfer Division of the Intellectual Property Management Office of Capiz State University Central Office. At the same time, a faculty of the College of Management teaching entrepreneurship subjects of Capiz State University main campus. He is a project staff of the Regional Agri-Aqua Technology Business Incubator in Region 6. At the same time, a project staff of the Agribusiness Incubator of CAPSU. He graduated from short courses on technology commercialization mentorship series, Agribusiness Masterclass, and the Agri-Aqua Technology Business Incubator Masterclass. Good afternoon and welcome, Sir French. I cannot hear you at the moment. Oh, can anybody else hear you? There you go. We can hear you now. Yes.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mama Ann, for that very kind introduction. And also thank you to BPI Foundation, the Bayan Academy, the SAPSE, and to the key contributors of this 2023 Philippine Social Entrepreneurship Salle. Let me just share my screen. Okay, again, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm French, and I will be sharing to you the social enterprise development and initiatives of Capiz State University. Okay, next. Okay, so we have actually four programs under the initiatives of the university. So we have the social enterprise development and incubation program. So this includes actually the capsule TBI, or the Center for Advancing Partnerships, Stimulating Upscale and Leading Enterprises, the called Business Incubator, which was established in 2018 and was funded by the Department of Science and Technology. And in 2021, we are very uh, uh, happy that the Department of Agriculture was also funded our agribusiness incubator. This two incubator is actually the technology transfer and commercialization support facility of the university to translate or develop products of research into a feasible technology-based enterprises. So we have also the university extension program, which includes uh, extension services by the different colleges and departments of the university. So this is actually a regular program of the university because it is part of the four quadridimensional function of the university, which includes the instruction, research, extension, and production. And we have also the BS Entrepreneurship curriculum. We integrated social entrepreneurship in the fourth year of the BS Entrepreneurship students. At the same time, we are implementing business plan implementation for the students for them to be able to gain knowledge on how to implement social enterprise when they graduated from the university. And recently, we are very grateful for the approval of the CEST project in the Vitas Capiz. CEST is actually a community enhancement program through science and technology by the Department of Science and Technology, funded by the Department of Science and Technology. And our incubator is actually offering business development services, technical services, licensing and spin-off support services, packaging and labeling, mentoring and coaching, linkaging, and of course, financial services to our beneficiaries, or we call them incubatees. Okay, next. So these are the beneficiaries of the Capsule Technology Business Incubator. This Capsule Technology Business Incubator is actually serving the first district beneficiaries or incubatees in the province of Capiz. So we have here the Ebang's Farm. It is a production of fresh oyster mushroom. At the same time, the owner is producing processed mushroom products. We have also the BDOS, veterinary products. This is a spin-off enterprise. So the owner is actually adopted the technology from the university. We have also the LNP Calamansi, the Mother's Choice food products, the 7JF steel fabrication, the La Primera, Nanay Patrins, Siles, Iscania dried fish, Obra Capisnon, H&M food products, M&J food products, and many more incubatees that serving the in the first district of Capiz. So these MSMEs are actually a social enterprise by nature. Okay, next. So we have also provided recently technical consultancy for our beneficiary. So for example, here the production or the production of dried fish in Rojas City, Capiz. So we provide technical consultancy, providing health and sanitation training, how to be able to have a better quality dried fish. We have also other technical services or technical consultancy provided to our incubatees, such as banana processing and other processing in the facility of the university. Next, ma'am. We also provide a packaging and labeling assistance to our incubatees. So we conduct training to them. So we try to we have actually a layout artist in our office that help our incubatees or our beneficiaries to develop their labels, label their products to be able to to gain more, to be more attractive in the market. So these are the outputs of the packaging and labeling training that we conducted. Next is the pitching activity. So we also conduct pitching activity, local and national activity. So the first picture is a local pitching activity where we invited different investors and financial institutions for the incubators or the firms that we are assisting to be able for them to present their business, their financial needs, and other investment concerns. So we also participated in national pitching. The two pictures, the second and the third, is actually a national pitching held in Baguio City, where our two incubators participated and attended and participated in the pitching activities. Okay, next. We have also the IBAR, Capsule Agribusiness Incubator. This incubator or agribusiness incubator is serving the second district beneficiary in the province of Capiz. So I have here some of the beneficiaries: the Ostfield Mushroom Farm, the Banks Farm, the Coconut Food and Beverage Processors in Borias, the Lapidis Farm, and the Boris Farm. So for the coconut food and beverage processor in Borias, this is actually a product of the extension services that the Capsu Borias campus is offering in Borias. And some of the beneficiaries are actually integrated farm serving the province with their fresh produce. No? So they actually employ local laborers in their location. So it is also a social enterprise. Okay, next. So these are the activities that we also being conducted by the DABAR Agribusiness Incubator. So we provide product development sessions to the incubators. So for example here, mushroom development, product development on mushroom, the training on asexual propagation and improved cultural practice in one of the farm that we assist, training on crop management, and we also conducted benchmarking activities to the established social enterprise in the region. So that's our activity conducted for the DABAR incubator. Next is, of course, with all the products they have, we also provide and help them access market. So we partner with Robinson's Place, Rojas, wherein we actually provided with a space for a free, where all of the products of the incubators are being displayed for selling and marketing in Robinson's Place. So that's one of the best opportunity that we gave to our beneficiaries or our MSMEs during the time of pandemic. Next is we also partner with SM for market access also. And recently, we conducted consultation with different financial organizations. So we provide financial access to the incubators or the beneficiaries of the incubator. So we invited the Land Bank of the Philippines, the SB Corporation, the DOST set up program, in other private financial institutions to present their offerings of loans and grants for social enterprise development in the province of Capiz. And we have also a partnership, entrepreneur project with Robinsons to our BS entrepreneurship students. So we're also able to get a free space at the Robinsons Mall for the entrepreneur, where students were able to display and market their product and operate their business operation in the mall. So I think the university is continuously supporting the establishment of social enterprise in the province by empowering community through sustainable livelihood, providing opportunity, mentoring and coaching, capacity building, and other support mechanisms to better a community of the province of Capiz. And for more information, you can contact us or visit us at Capiz State University, Rosity. You can contact us at the number provided, email, and website. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Sir French. Thank you for sharing your story at the Capiz State University. So makikita ninyo, we've listened to four schools or academic institutions so far, and really, it's not a one size fits all. No, our theme or what we'd like to happen with the National Social Enterprise Roadmap is to have a unified message among across in our Philippine setting or in a national setting, but it is up to us really because we are an archipelago, because it is very different in different parts of the region of the Philippines. As you've seen with Mr. French's presentation, mas marami sa kanilang programs is into agriculture. No? So how do you develop social entrepreneurship in such a setting? No, is our role as academic institutions. So before I proceed to the next speaker, I'd like to say hi to almost 80 people here in this room. Thank you very much for being here today, despite being it a holiday. If you've missed our first 3 or 4 presenters and you'd like to hear what they have presented, do visit the Hubilo platform again, either later tonight or tomorrow, so you can hear more about the stories of Salle, Northwestern, Brightwoods as well. Okay, so we have 2 more speakers for this afternoon. Our next one is from Mindanao. He is Mr. Constantino Brasileño, or more commonly known as CJ by his peers, is the current TBI coordinator of IDEA, researcher at IDEA Center of Innovation and Technopreneurship at Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, the first ever DOST PCIEERD funded technology business incubator in Mindanao. He has been in charge of developing tech startups for one of the premier tech incubators in the Philippines for the past 4 years. Aside from his duties, he is also part of the university as a faculty of the Department of Marketing in the same university, teaching entrepreneurship and business. He has over 7 years of entrepreneurship and consultancy experience, helping develop over 100 plus startups. He also serves as consultants to universities that want to develop their TBIs through their HEIRIT program. In earlier parts of his career, he also served as the incubation officer of CDO Bytes, a TBI of the University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, where he was in charge of developing and delivering the incubation program of the incubator. The incubation program has been awarded by DOST PCIEERD as a DOST Kabalikat Award for Best Incubation Program. During his current post as lead for incubation at IDEA, it was awarded also as the Rising Star Incubator and the People's Choice for Best Incubator in the Philippines during the DOST QBO Startup Incubator Awards. During his early years in college, he founded NAP Deliveries, a social enterprise catering to small carinderia owners and home cook nanays in selling their goods online. Through this, he was named as top 5 student social entrepreneurs during the 2016 BPIC NAGU and was also able to receive grants from the University of Connecticut through the SEALI program. So let us give our virtual applause to Mr. Constantino Brasileño from Mindanao State University. Hello, CJ. Sir CJ.
Hello?
There you go.
All
Got
right.
it. I can hear you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Miss Maan. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for inviting us at IDEA, no, and also to SAPSE for gracing us this floor. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us to be here, and also thank you so much for the National Council for also including MSU IIT as part of the pioneers for this social entrepreneurship summit. So that in mind, of course, I'm here to discuss and also to share a little bit of our journey, also as an incubator, and also our journey from startup startup founder or startup group to a more impact-driven incubator, now serving social enterprises as a core thrust, of our institute in delivering our program. Of course, I won't take too much time in our hands, but most of the things that I will share today will be my story as also an incubator, and also the story of our incubator at MSU IIT. Okay. So again, no, my name actually is Constantino A. Brasileño Jr., but please do call me Siege instead. Now I currently serve as a TBI coordinator of IDEA Center of Innovation and Technopreneurship, and we are the first DOST funded technology business incubator. And of course, I'm here to share you IDEA's journey and its depiction to the adoption of our university to social enterprise and to impact. Uh, of course, I'd like to give you background on, the extension programs of MSUIT. Our main focus of our extension, so we call our extension program at MSUIT as We Care. So it stands for wellness, no, which is health sanitation, education, which is the focus on literacy, capacity building, alternative livelihood, rehabilitation, and of course, lastly, entrepreneurial development. Uh, our extension program at MSUIT has spanned since the 1930s as a precedent to our previous program. But as time grew by, the focus towards entrepreneurship, in building our uh, enterprise ecosystem in the Philippines has increased. As we all know, that 99.6% of our economy is run by the SMEs. So that in mind, the thrust of the university has also shifted and changed towards developing entrepreneurs. Of course, no, there's a very difference between social entrepreneurship and, of course, entrepreneurship in general. Uh, Way back before, the thrust was entrepreneurship, but as we move forward, we'll share the journey of how IDEA and also the university has adopted social entrepreneurship as part of its main mandate. Of course, in just to give you a brief background, if you go towards the World Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum depicts that there is a need, for universities, innovative institutes, and even institutions in government and non-government institutes to support entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a main driver of economy, and for one, there is that need for development in several areas. So you can see here, if you go into their website at weforum.org, with that strategic intelligence, may makikita tayong circle with different parts or different sectors or areas where each part or each facet of entrepreneurship can actually improve. So that in mind, social entrepreneurship remains as a huge pillar of our development. But it comes with a lot or myriad of problems, that we need to also address going forward. And that also brings us, to the development of IDEA. So as you all know, or not really know, so as you may know, or as I will share to you right now, IDEA is the Center of Innovation and Technopreneurship at the MSIT. It was first conceptualized really as an arm for the extension program to support entrepreneurs and support innovations within the university so that we can develop technologies and also disruptive innovations within the university. But other than that, in our holistic approach to developing the nation and also to developing impact, we're also mandated by DOST to develop Mindanao startup culture. So at first, as the process went on, so when we started our story, way back in 2016, the establishment of IDEA was funded by DOST in the hopes that we could develop new technology enterprises, right? So it's more of developing for-profit enterprises. And as you can see, I will show some equally important parts of the timetable so that you can show our progress also. Our first mandate was really to develop the startup culture. Of course, when you talk about startups, startups are developed, or we always say that the root of every startup is always to create something that solves real world problems. And that also reflects in our programs here at IDEA, and as well as our vision and mission. So we pride ourselves as one of the premier startup incubators in the Philippines that promotes collaborative, sustainable innovation towards a more progressive Mindanao. And we aim to in creating and providing an integrated support system for budding entrepreneurs to relevant programs in innovation, science and tech, and technopreneurship to stimulate local and economic and social development. Our core values is we call it CCOS, no? So it's collaboration that inspires innovation and creativity through open-mindedness and service to others. So that in mind, we have been anchored towards creating impact, no? To really develop startups that really solve real-world problems. So in 2017, 2018, we tried to furnish our mandate of developing the startup culture in Mindanao. So we started community outreaches and mainstreaming the culture of innovation and mainstreaming the culture of entrepreneurship. As one, we have realized that in the first few years, most of the students or schools that we have visited all throughout Mindanao, students chose to, go with a career that gave them a steady income, steady job, and not really towards entrepreneurship in general. And of course, we tried to change that and show technopreneurship and entrepreneurship as a possible career path for students in different parts of Mindanao. And we really work towards improving our marketing and branding, or networking and branding for the first 3 years. So as 2019 rolled, or before 2019 rolled, we have created already our flagship programs. No? So we have the iStartup conference that we host almost every year, to show that there are community leaders and champions in the area to promote startups. We created the IDEA Hack competition, which is a 54-hour competition where we help out industries with problems that they can solve, and then let engineers, scientists, and innovators create solutions for these types of problems. We created Startup Weekend. We host Startup Weekends. This is a Techstar startup event where we let students, professionals, and faculty and staff to join the program and create startups throughout 3 days within the weekend. No, actually, just 2 days, but half of a Friday. And then we have a community program, which is Tech 2020 Tech Community Meetup, where we show them founders, social entrepreneurs, and startup enthusiasts that aim towards building innovative products that solve real-world problems. And we have our other flagship program, the IDEA Brew Workshops, which is an ideation workshop program, and a yearly MSU-IIT Grand Hackathon that is adopted by our university as part of the program towards building more entrepreneurial students through a hackathon program. And of course, we created our flagship incubation program, which we call as the IDEA Mindanao Startup Challenge. It is a Mindanao-wide challenge that aims to find the best teams with their innovative solution to all age problems and turn this idea into profitable businesses. And of course, as we move from 2016 towards 2018, realize that when we create startups, it's not just enough to just create startups because the solution creates impact. It solves problems. We wanted to support entrepreneurs that have a collective vision, to really create impact, and not just create products that create impact and then gain profit from it. Of course, when we talk about social enterprises, we always go back to the 3 Ps, or the triple bottom line. So that's the people, the product, and the profit. Should be able to create a product that can serve the people so that people may gain income, but also have a profitable business so that you can create more impact to more people all around the globe. So we needed that holistic set of founders. And that's why in 2019, We tried to scale up our programs, institutionalizing our activity, but also through these trainings and BOR programs and continuing of these community events, we are graced to have an opportunity to meet with the British Council and experiment on creating a social enterprise incubation program. So we started with the CSOC in leadership with our former Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, Doc Jinky Bernales, and one of our faculty coordinators, Professor Stephen Fajardo, in creating and running the first CSOC program at MSUIT. So with 36 social enterprises, we've undergone them with incubation training programs, where after they presented in a demo day. And of course, going back, 2020, after our successful campaign in creating and innovating new other tracks aside from startup programs, developing startup businesses, now we have been faced with creating another track, which is towards social innovation, creating startups that have a social nature in them. So in 2020, with the advent of the pandemic, we were tasked to also now find new sustainability means for our program. Of course, with the DOST funding almost ending, we have done sure thing, Miss Maano. So apologies, I was quite cut, but to go back to the conversation that we previously had, 2020 was kind of a pivotal role for us as an institution, developing new programs and trying to create new programs to really support impact-driven startups and also impact-driven enterprises as a whole. So 2020, we were really focusing towards sustainability and institutionalizing our programs also at IDEA. But after 2020, we were really stoked towards building, having the university fund our institution programs as part of the institution and being funded as a center inside the university. Okay, and as 2020 rolled out, it was a good time also that IDEA was then recognized as one of the cost centers in the university, which solidifies our position as a center. So we have been given a budget of 1.6 million every year by the General Appropriations Act, which is funded for the university to run its incubator inside the university, thus also prompting the sustainability of our operations and our incubation program throughout the years to come. Of course, we have maintained several online our programs. We have tried to pivot them, our incubation program, to a hybrid mode, to an online mode, and also we've also introduced new sets of programs to help others build the community of impact-driven founders, like IDEA Fly Talks, IDEA Spotlight, which are online events that happens monthly and one is quarterly. That's respectively. Where we showcase and highlight founders, startup enablers, community developers in their stories to generating and building their own startup ecosystems with impact and sustainability as a whole. Also have IDEA Link programs where we help startups link up with mentors and investors and prepare them for possible engagements for such, and also prepare them for business readiness. And we also have programs for SMEs where we help them upgrade their business in innovation, which we call it iBuild, or IDEA Build program, which is our business upgrade and innovation through learning and development. So this is a learning program for SMEs on how they can actually create more technology adoption through the usage of local startups and other technologies available in the industry. And so by 2021 and 2022, we received this external funding, and we have hired our own permanent staff and institutionalized programs and activities. Considering we are a state university, this feat has also astounded us. It's a pretty hard feat, considering we have to go through bureaucracy and process in towards developing this center for our university. But through the efforts of several people, working hand in hand to developing this, we have been lucky that we have been institutionalized in the university. With that, no, we have increased our trust, no, in developing more startup founders and more innovation, social innovation-driven programs. One is we have helped in establishing our Regional Inclusive Innovation Center, which is a Liganized program. It's a Liganized program or the innovation through leveraging industry, government, academy networks, and inclusive community engagements helps us to reach more SMEs and develop impact through providing them with innovative resources within the university. We're one of the only few institutions or regional inclusive innovation centers that is hinged not by a chamber of commerce but actually by a university. So we're glad that we have been given the opportunity by USAID in partnership with the DOST region, DTI, and DICT, as well as university to implement this program to help out more SMEs gain impact. For one, we have also been able, through the Organized program, provide CEST funding, CEST funding to an institution, a local institution in our area called Sicam, no? Sicam Agritourism Community, where they were able to develop their products in their institution, to developing products and resources, and also provide them with resources to maximizing their opportunities in building a social enterprise for themselves, helping the IP community. Aside from that, we were also funded by DOST Fishered to run the WHY's Iblanized program. So WHY, so Women Helping Women, Women Helping Women Innovating Social Enterprises is a program by DOST Fishered aimed towards building more social enterprises led by women, no? And also to increase the number of women participating in entrepreneurship. So this one is also co-run with university, the Miriam College, TBI, MCTBI. I know that some of them are here in the room now. So if you do have questions with them also later, you can also invite them. And also from UP Mindanao Technology Business Incubator, which is named Upgrade. No? So we have been running this social innovation programs, the social entrepreneurship programs, along with our partners at Gilgrow, the Social Enterprise Academy, and also with Bayan Academy. So by the numbers, no, overall, since 2016, we have received over 3,200 participants worldwide, both and online, through our programs that we have hosted. Visited over 90 schools and institutions all over Mindanao, helped over 24 startups to graduate, and an upcoming 7 more this year. And we have received over 450,000 pesos worth of awards given from our partners and in support, and also been able to help facilitate over 12 million funding for our startups that generate social impact and create social communities. And of course, as an institution, we are bound to also provide. We are not just as a university or an academic institution. We are not just mandated to create or find the gap in the knowledge, create research, but also to give that research or give our capacity to teach to other people. And of course, as an academic institutions, it's our duty and responsibility to teach and influence the future of this country towards sustainable development. Because we have to protect our future and the next, and we have to teach also the younger generation to protect it going forward. And before we end, this is just a sharing. This is what the former Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension, my mentor, Doc Jinky Bernales, also says when we plan to create something or we plan to integrate something in the university. In a university setting, she would always say, "There's this five P's that we should keep and abide with." So we have to know our people. People will tell us what we can accomplish. Who our people are is what can tell us how we can tell us what we can accomplish with the skill sets and the right mindset that we have. Our processes, the process that we currently go through and what we intend to will show how much we can accomplish. Our policies will tell us what we will decide. Our programs will tell us what we need to accomplish. And then our priorities will tell us what we need to decide and what we should decide. With that in mind, no, with a great team, great inspiration, and a good thrust for social impact, no, we continue to developing ideas and we pride ourselves as a center of innovation and technopreneurship where ideas take flight. So to learn more about IDEA, Center of Innovation and Technopreneurship, would love to hear your thoughts and connect with you. Daghang salamat and have a great evening.
Maraming salamat, Sir Siege. And my apologies again for the technical glitch there. Information on IDEA is on the chat box. Okay. Now, for our last, so the first 5 speakers that we've had are all part of the founding members of the National Association of Academic Institutions for Social Entrepreneurship Development. The next speaker will have a slightly different story from the others, as he is the winner, one of the winners of the PPI CNAG competition last year, no, in 2022. So he was his institution, the Camarines Polytechnic College, was one of the winners of the BPI CNAG competition that was held last year for educators. So Mr. Niño Obrero will be sharing his experience as a awardee, his experience on implementing social entrepreneurship because he has attended the boot camp and has received a grant to start up his project. So before he comes on stage, let me introduce him. Sir Niño Obrero graduated with a degree in BS Entrepreneurship at the Ateneo de Naga University, awarded cum laude and a distinction in entrepreneurship last 2012. He held a master's degree in entrepreneurship from Bicol University and was conferred an outstanding graduate in 2014. He is finishing his Doctor of Philosophy, major in Commerce at the University of Santo Tomas as a CHED scholar. Let's give a virtual round of applause to Mr. Niño Obrero. Welcome, sir, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Miss Maan. Am I being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm just gonna ask Miss Kamei to share my slides so as to not to consume much more time. All right. So good afternoon. That being said, we are one of the top 5 teams who won the BPI CNAG for Educators last 2022. Actually, we are 2 in this. Dr. Crizel is not around, so I have to take her side. So basically, we're gonna discuss to you the social entrepreneurship initiatives of the Camarines Polytechnic College. We are basically in Nabua Camarines Sur, in Bicol region. So basically, we have our own share of entrepreneurship activities. So next slide, please. Ms. Kamei? Yes. So our program is basically, it started in 2014. It's a Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship under the College of Tourism, Hospitality, and Business Management. So roughly, we have 600 plus students enrolled in the Business Entrepreneurship program. I think we have one of the big enrollees in the province with 600 plus students from first year to fourth year. Now, I was attending yesterday as well as yesterday's session, and it was mentioned that some of the founding schools have social entrepreneurship course early being given as early as first year. Now, on our part, we usually strategically put it on the third year of our students. And I think one of our strengths as a state university is that we have 9 regular aligned faculty. So that means a lot for a state university. It means that we are very serious with our intention to promote entrepreneurship, allotting 9 regular plantilla for faculty alone. And we are inviting local entrepreneurs as part-timers to basically share their experiences to our students. And basically, the track is along technopreneurship and social entrepreneurship. These are basically the main direction of our students when it comes to their business ideas and income generating projects. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges? The reason why we went to the BPI SINAG for educator and we basically applied for a grant, because in the provinces, we have a different ecosystem. Entrepreneurship students in the NCR is different from the entrepreneurship students in the provinces. Not just in Bicol, but I think some parts, some regions, and some provinces share the same. Most of our enrollees are basically was not admitted in their first priority course. So they just went to entrepreneurship course because there's an available slot. So there are some instances that most of the students are thinking this kind of decisions. And second is that the mindset is still towards employment. Uh, my course is based entrepreneurship. I finished it in 2012. In our batch, I think only 10% went on to do entrepreneurial ventures. And fast forward to 2022, it's still the same experience. All entrepreneurship graduates are basically towards employment. And number three challenge is that no localized reference book or materials for instruction. Again, yesterday, I think this was brought up. It was being mentioned that there's no localized reference and it's very hard to look for RRL, especially for those in the provinces. And I think Miss Maan made mention that actually Bayan Academy is doing a lot of references, and we commend Bayan Academy for this. Actually, all of our resources along social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship are actually book of Prof. Edmo and authors of Bayan Academy. But one thing siguro that we wanted to emphasize here is that there's no localized reference book to showcase social entrepreneurs in the province. Again, as mentioned, we have a different ecosystem. So basically, there's no reference book that showcases the Bicolano social entrepreneurs. And that's the reason why we have these certain strategies. Okay? So next slide, please. Ayan. So the first strategy is for us to revise the curriculum. Remember when I presented a while ago that we put social entrepreneurship at the third year level? The reason is, first challenge is that entrepreneurship is not the priority course. Some of the students enroll to entrepreneurship because maybe it's their second or third choice or there's no available option. We have to start enriching the students' self-mastery towards entrepreneurship education. We have to promote and build what entrepreneurship is and what it's all about. So basically, we focus the curriculum courses, the courses for the first year and second year to basically for the students to appreciate what entrepreneurship is. So by the time that they reach third year, they have now a good appreciation of what entrepreneurship is all about, and they are now very much welcoming as to the idea of what social entrepreneur and technopreneurship is. Now, the second strategy is that, again, to change the mindset of the students, is we have to expose them to the technology business incubators or incubation centers and different facilities. Now, luckily in our province, there are at least 3 operational TBI, newly minted TBI. It's one from our school in CSPC and one in Ateneo Dinaga and one private TBI. So there are actually 3 TBIs in our province with 2 more applying to be recognized by the UST. So basically we have 5 TBIs in the province alone, and we have to expose the students to these incubation centers because one of their concerns would be we don't have the necessary capitalization. Second would be we don't have the necessary experts to support us with our ideas. But with the TBI in place, and we are already talking with the different TBIs in the province that we should co-incubate. We should focus on our strengths and then we transfer this cohorts to your group, to your incubation center. So exposing the students to this kind of environment and shared service facilities would empower them to give them an option. Okay, perhaps we can go to entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship because we have the necessary support. The next thing is to focus on research initiatives along the social entrepreneurship ecosystem. Bicol has a lot of SEs. In 2019, Dr. Grizel and I, we went on to do the competencies of the Bicolano social entrepreneurs all over Bicol. And it's a funny thing to know that these entrepreneurs don't know yet that they're basically social entrepreneurs. So there's a lot of this kind of instances in Bicol that they're doing business for the community, for their stakeholders, but yet they consider themselves as micro enterprises or medium enterprises. So doing research initiatives would mean we get to know this kind of SEs and help them with their advocacies. Thus, we went to the creation of a guidebook or the localized module because by this initiative, we could basically bridge the academe and the SEs in the Bicol. So next slide. So this is actually our proposal to the BPI CNAG, and which won us a grant to implement this project. This is now the Social Entrepreneurship Guidebook, Bicol Edition. So basically, we just wanted to identify the social entrepreneur champions per province, at least one or two. We have 6 provinces in Bicol. We have Camarines, Cam Norte, Albay, Sorsogon, Masbate, and Catanduanes. We wanted to basically identify them. Who are the social entrepreneurs that are not yet known, but are doing a lot in terms of changing their community and supporting the ecosystem? We wanted to basically know specifically and more importantly their failures. We are more interested to their failures because we want the students to feel and basically uh, understand that doing entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship ventures is not an easy feat. There will be lots of failures. And when they see that their kapwa Bicolano are also failing and yet being successful in doing this entrepreneurship, technopreneurship, and social entrepreneurship ventures, then perhaps we could light up a fire in their passion and their desire to become an entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur. So at the end of the day, what we really wanted to do is to promote social entrepreneurs in the community and make known their advocacies so that they can basically reach out to the academe for support, and the academe can basically immerse our students in their place, in their advocacies. Thus, perhaps we could create more social entrepreneurs in Bicol region. So I think that's it for me. I don't want to hold you for long. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ayan, nandiyan na ako. Thank you very much, Sir Nino. Thank you for sharing. So we just had 6 wonderful sharing, inspirational, in different types of academic institutions. Okay, so I would like to open the floor now for questions from our audience. Okay, kung wala kayong tanong, ako meron akong tanong. And maybe kung pwede, maybe at least 3 schools can answer my question. My first question is, what is the biggest challenge that you faced in building social entrepreneurship or the social entrepreneurship development within your school? And so 2 questions. What is your biggest challenge? And second, what do you think is the key success factor that enabled you to jumpstart, continue, and commit to the social enterprise development program in your school? If we can have at least 3 answers, who would like to answer our questions? Kami, maybe we can stop sharing so we can see their beautiful faces na lang. To my speakers, yeah, please join me on stage right now. So I have 2 questions. One is, what is your biggest challenge in the journey of social entrepreneurship development? You all are in different stages. Kung baga, di ba, merong nagsisimula lang, merong, like for Sir Norby, it's already a center where, all the schools of LaSalle are very much involved. So what was the biggest challenge? That's the first question. And second is, you all are committed to social entrepreneurship development in your school, what do you think is the key success factor? What is needed from the institution so that you can have a social enterprise development? Yeah. So who would like to first answer?
I can go first because I've been replying to people in the chat box
Okay.
privately. I think the biggest challenge I had to face when I was starting is the convincing part because at the time when I was starting LSED, like it was very new to the academe, particularly introducing social entrep, like the model of community student partnership in building social enterprises. So there were lots of reservations. People were asking me at the time, is that even possible? Is that even visible? Do you have enough proof that that could work, especially in a university like La Salle where there's so much expertise that you have to manage and so much expectations that you have to somehow manage as well and try to make sense no in terms of building a social enterprise program. So I think the convincing part, how I addressed it at that time was more of like a multi-sectoral. So I had to go to the deans one by one, try to convince them, try to pitch the idea of launching a social enterprise program and get their insight also how to go about it, building from their own personal experiences
Mm-hmm.
in doing or implementing a program in the context of social engagement because that was how we started like as
Okay.
a component of a social engagement project. And when we
Okay.
launched the program, the fellowship program, it wasn't easy also because we were trying to also manage the risk of failing because that was a pilot
Yes.
batch. So you had to really pick the right participants or the right fellows who could potentially influence other students to get into social entrepreneurship. It's because of the fact that it wasn't really at that time like a requirement. It was more of like a voluntary thing that students had to apply and that students
Mm-hmm.
had to involve themselves in. So it wasn't really easy. But after we launched and successfully implemented batch two, our batch one, that's when we decided to do some sort like a study, basically understanding the entire design of the program and try to make sense of what we could possibly get from the insights to be able to develop batch two a year after that. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the humble beginning of LSEED, from being a component to becoming a program, a university-wide initiative, and now as a center. So that's how we started expanding our efforts to curriculum, to research, formation, and all other areas there are in the context of higher education, just to make sure that our students get to have like experience the full cycle from formation to incubation to acceleration of like experience of social entrepreneurship. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how we do it.
So,
And
kumbaga, Sir
yeah,
Norby, it was a series of lobbying talaga,
yeah,
convincing
yeah,
people what this is, what it's all about, convincing them to join and
exactly.
really understand. And then you were saying, how about the key success factor? Like, it's been going on now, it's a center. In the last few years or in the last years, the social enterprise development from a mere program to now a center, what is it? What is the consistent part that enables your development program to be successful? Kasi nandun na kayo sa next level
Mm.
where you're going to do a masteral program on social enterprise already. So, ano sa tingin niyo yung kinailangan para mangyari itong lahat?
We made sure that our model of social entrepreneurship is very inclusive. We don't look at our partner communities as mere beneficiaries, participants, or suppliers of the social enterprises. They are, in fact, co-owners of the social enterprises that we've been able to build over the years. And I think that's one of the major key element which makes LaSalle's social entrepreneurship sustainable in a way. That's one. Second is in the absence of a definition, we did lots of consultation to define what social entrepreneurship means to us as Lasallians, consistent with our Lasallian guiding principles. So we made sure that we created our key elements of inclusive ownership structure, quality participation, and valuation and non-monetary contributions as the guiding lights of or guiding principles that we carry on, regardless of the design or the type of programs that we develop from the inception moving forward. So I think consistency is very important. And third, you have to work with this is an afterthought after doing so many programs in LaSalle. Like we have to coexist with all other institutions out there. And
Yes.
that's why
Yes.
that's why we're working with lots of institutions in building the social enterprise sector. Because even if we're successful internally as an institution, or even in the Lasallian family, we have 16 schools nationwide. We make it a point that we work with other institutions so that we build the entire sector, because the success of these SEs would also depend on the ability of the sector to actually grow these social enterprises after the students graduate, or after they finish the incubation or even the acceleration programs that we implement in LaSalle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Sir Norby. Anybody else would like to share your challenges and what do you think the key success factor is that enables you to continuously grow and develop the social enterprise program within your academic institution? Yes, Sir Siege. Ay, naku, hindi ko na naman kayo marinig. Can you do that? Mute, unmute again, if you can. Can you hear him? Or ako lang ba? No, I can't hear you, sir. Sir, paki-type na lang. We're running out of time na rin eh. But can you type your answer in our chat box so that we can also hear from you? Sir Niño, would you like to share?
Yeah. I guess on our part, we're trying to lobby for the institutionalizing the entrep mind courses, technopreneurship courses. But again, without good support from the administration, this is something that we have to show outputs and
Yeah.
results. So we're
Yes.
doing this initiatives because we have to show them results. Imagine if we have 12,000 enrolled students at CSPC. Imagine if only 10% of those population goes on to start a startup venture, then that would be creating a lot of change, positive change in our province.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
slowly we're trying to try to change the direction of the college.
Yeah. One thing that you said there, I think malaking bagay yung support ng
Yeah.
administration, no? Or the leadership of the academic institution. Kasi no matter how much we feel as faculty, as professors, or even administrators, that social enterprise is important, without the support of the leadership of the academic institution, mahihirapan tayong mag-join hands with others. So like I feel like, for example, with the case of LCD, to be able to coordinate with the other colleges, 'di ba, sir, in your university, to be able to have, I remember we were talking about this before, that you have representatives from different colleges in your university within LC. To have that really requires the commitment of the leadership of the academic institution. So that's wonderful also. Sir Siege, can we try again with your microphone?
Hello, am I
Yo!
audible?
Na-excite ako doon. Go!
Okay. Okay. So, sa amin naman, in terms of like SE or like institutionalizing, really, I'd like to re-echo also with Sir Niño and also with Sir Norby, kasi it goes both ways kasi we're just lucky for one kasi we started as a DUST Fisher funded TBI. So
Okay.
parang may leverage kami to fail, kumbaga, because we're not funded by the university per se. So we
Okay.
had a
Okay.
chance to parang experiment and all to gain that traction in the first few years. So parang, yes, I think I do second the motion that you have to have a leader that has to have a say in the university to like really also thrust it towards the whole ecosystem. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
for us, when we try to pitch the idea of like impact driven startups in the university, they had to see parang what's in it for the university, what's the buy-in kumbaga ng university, how does the university increase the rank in the education rankings, so ganon. So parang that's usually what happens during like the discussions when you want to like institutionalize your program. So parang we had to like let them see that the students do join programs and what's the benefit for the life of the students after they join the program. So parang those were just some of the ways that we have to show them. But in the first few years, yeah, we did have some bumpy rocks. So talagang in the first year talaga ng starting namin sa program, may talagang, oh, we've done this wrong, we've done this right, tapos we try to innovate along the way and try to really find which was our niche. So we found out that our niche was really developing yung impact-driven startups, not really like yung for-profit startups. So
Right.
I think that's how we also did it.
Okay, thank you, Sir Siege. There is a question here in our chat box. I think this is from Juanita. I think this is for Sir Niño. Uh, Exposure to TBI as their measure for the student to continue. How about other schools? How about for the other schools other than kay Sir Nino? Do you also have problems on how to hold their students to continue the entrepreneurship program? How do you convince them to stay? I think it was stated earlier by Sir Nino na konti lang din yung nag-enroll and then that's success file. So how do you encourage students to continue the entrepreneurship program? Would anyone like to answer that?
Maybe I can go first po, Miss Maano.
Sure,
So
sure.
for us, kasi for the students, one thing that we found out na kung hindi nila nakikita sa as a powerful like career path yung entrepreneurship per se. Kasi hindi sila marunong mag-sell ng products. They're really
Mm.
good at innovating, parang can find they know how to like find what's a good product to sell, kumbaga ganun. But then after that, that's already cut. Hindi na nila passion yung they go out to the people, they try to sell their products, they try to scale their products going forward. They can create products in the first few years kasi for us at MSUIT, we start off our program in social entrep mga around second year. But then after the program, they don't like really continue because they don't have the heart or passion for selling.
Yeah.
So, kumbaga, kasi it goes both hand in hand eh. When we try to like look at entrepreneurs, why do they succeed? Because they're really good at selling. They're really good at like sharing the value of the product that they're selling. Kumbaga, if we can teach them the art of it and then make them passionate about how they can improve selling their products because we have a lot of good products from these students. Um, Maybe we can push forward with making it a good viable career path for these students.
Yeah. Ako speaking, I guess I can also in a way answer that question. I did not graduate from an entrepreneurship course in my university, but and now I am 20 years. I I aged myself, X number of years later, am an entrepreneur. But I think it will be kind of hard to really push entrepreneurship to students if they don't have not just the good in selling, but also the passion for it. Because entrepreneurship is about innovation, it's about operations, it's about human resource, all those different managerial or business aspects. Eh. So kung wala ka talagang hilig doon, medyo mahirap siya.
Yeah, if
Ayun.
you do not have the grit and
Yes,
determination.
definitely. Definitely. Medyo kailangan in nature. And I think I guess I can also, and if you guys will agree with me, I can relate it to being a doctor. 'Di ba? A lot of people, oh, I want to be a doctor. So they enroll, magpe-pre-med sila. Pero they realize along the way, being a doctor, being a teacher, these professions require a certain type of personality and commitment. And I think that also holds true for entrepreneurs. Hindi ba? Parang kailangan meron kang anong grit, meron kang capacity to fail, no? And these are the I don't know if we can teach them to our students, but it's also something that is innate in them. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree because you don't just educate students. I think the most crucial part in building that social entrepreneurial mindset is the formation part, and it does not stop by just teaching them like what are the entrepreneurial skills that they have to
Concept.
embrace,
Yeah,
the concept
yeah.
and everything that that will have to be taught in school. I think what the questions that we ask, the hard questions, the critical questions that we ask them during reflection, the experience exposure we give them, regardless if it's a failure or success, I think those things really matter in the formation of our students. Because even if you're from engineering, but you have that kind of entrepreneurial mindset, you can in fact develop something out of that. It has to come from that personal commitment and a natural instinct that you can be a social entrepreneur if you have that, if your heart is in the right place and if you understand that what you're doing is not just for yourself, but for the people
Yeah.
that you work with and that you want to help. And I think uh, you need time for that. I mean, you
Yeah.
need time for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sir Norby. Let's read from the chat box again. We'll try to we'll try to end in 2 to 3 minutes, but before we do so, let me just read the chat box. For those who are interested to do research about social enterprises, can our speaker share some names list of social enterprises that can be approached? Ma'am, I have a jovial. I have a easier answer for you. Contact by an academy. They do have a list of social enterprises already that maybe you can connect with. That's one. Second, both the present coalition and the National Social Enterprise Roadmap, we're actually building a registry, no, of social enterprises in the Philippines. So we hopefully soon can have a directory of social enterprises as well. Um, Okay, Giselle pinned the message. If you would like that to sign up to be part of the National Social Enterprise Roadmap, do click on that link. Next, from Ms. Leda, I am very much interested with SE since I met Dr. Dakanay way back in 2015. I am now on my dissertation and is planning to pursue SE, but is very hesitant because there's few to none available RRL and doesn't know anyone in my network to be a mentor. So two things there. RRL is the resource. Tama ba ako? And I think that was Sir Niño's problem also in your area. And yesterday, di ba, Sir Norby, a lot of people were talking about that and thinking about that. Meron akong slight advertising. Bayan Academy has published through BPIC na 2 books or 3 books already with a lot of local case studies on social enterprises. Happy Helpers would be one of them, which is my own enterprise. So in these 2 days, ngayon ako nag-plug Happy Helpers, my own social enterprise. So that, and I know, like with all the academic institutions that we have invited today, a lot are already doing research as well. And I think it's just, I think that's why, Diba, Sir Norby, what we really want to do this year is to manage that knowledge, no? In a way, have a knowledge hub of what is available. Kasi marami na, and as we've seen yesterday and today, there really are a lot of schools who have been doing research on social enterprises and social entrepreneurship. I know also of a book from Ascent, which is also from Ateneo, that have social enterprises case studies, which are all local as well. Uh, Ayan, so Giselle also posted Bayan's collection of books on social entrepreneurship. Okay, so before we close, we'd like to invite everyone to the main room later. But before we close this breakout session, any last words from our speakers? Any advice on those who are still hesitant on starting their social enterprise development program in their school? Or what advice would you give them so that they can have the courage to start their social enterprise development program in their school? Advice to our audience? Sige, Sir Niño.
Siguro the best way is for you to start now. Little by little, it gonna makes progress. You know? Start now. There will be problems along the way, especially when it comes to support. But when they can see that there's really output, tangible output coming from your initiatives, then the administration will basically support it, and you'll be getting support from the stakeholders even outside your institution. So the more that you make the ecosystem bigger and working together, the better.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Niño. Sir French? Nako, can you unmute? Kasi we can't hear you yet. There. Wala pa rin ulit. Okay. Sir Siege, can you try? Malamang Sir French
Okay.
mag-ano. Ayan. Sir Siege,
Okay. Para sa
advice?
akin, advice is, I think it's gonna be a rough road ahead. Pero when you're starting things like this, no, it takes parang a labor of love, kumbaga ba. May halong passion talaga siya involved. And you have to put your heart in it when you're developing a program. So, kadalasan may ibang aspects na makatulog or like you have to like do something, go out in the field, help out other SEs, reach out to the communities. That's part of the growth, part of it. Parang birthing pain siya. But
Yeah.
know that after all of these things, it will return to you, and that this is the investment that you receive is not really just the money that comes in from the university or the support that comes into the university, but yung smiles and the cheers that you receive from seeing the communities that these social enterprises that have helped help across the way. So know that you are part of the development. You help out the social enterprise, you help out the community. That's it.
Thank you, Sir Siege and Sir Norby.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but have the courage to start, fail, and eventually succeed. You have
Yeah.
us, you have this network who will help you to be able to start your social enterprise venture. So just trust the process. Thank you.
Yeah. And join our association. Okay, from Sir Francis, anything big starts with small. So start with whatever small you have. Thank you very much. And from Sir French, talk to your champions, the president, VPs, and other university officials because you really need, like what we've been discussing earlier, that's what we really need right now. Okay, so sign up to be part of the National Social Enterprise Development Roadmap. The link is there on the chat box. Thank you very much, everyone. It has been a wonderful, more than 2.5 hours, almost 2.5 hour session. We have been inspired by all the schools that have spoken. We can start somewhere, no? Start small. You're already doing it, no? As I've been listening for the past 2 hours, I think you just don't know, but you have been doing it, and that is helping the community around you is already the start of developing social entrepreneurship within your school. Now, I would like to invite everyone to go to the main stage as we listen to BPI Foundation talk about their commitment to the National Social Enterprise Roadmap. And with that, good afternoon and thank you very much. Thank you to our wonderful, wonderful speakers. Thank you for your time and commitment to this endeavor. Thank you. And I'll see you all guys in the main stage. Thank you.